Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of Empower Strike Back every Monday at 10:30 a.m. on the network, turned into podcast form, set all over the internet, leader of WarriorDefenders.com, author extraordinaire, writing her second book. Her first book is out. Please welcome the summer safety tip expert, the one, the only, H.D. Reese, a.k.a. Mrs. Pete Davis. Good morning.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you doing on this Friday morning?
I'm doing good on this Friday morning. How about yourself?
It's a good Friday morning for, no rain, nice weather.
Yes.
Nice and hot.
Time to go swimming. Time to get in that pool. We got one up the road from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You have the pool, the Lake Lanier, boats, hiking on the trails, all kinds of fun stuff to do in this weather. But there's so many things we have to keep in mind when we're out in the summer.
Right.
That people don't always think about. And a lot of times it's the kids that need the most care during summer because they are open wide for summer and no school, and they're all like super wanting to do a lot of things. And along with having great vacation plans and keeping them safe with identification, knowing what their name is, and knowing who their parents are, and how to get found in case they get lost and things like that, we always want to keep an eye on them. There's so many other things that we need to worry about when it comes to children's safety, and we want to make sure that everybody has a...
Right. You there? Holly, H.D. Reese has disappeared on us.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you go. I thought you disappeared.
Uh-oh.
All right, you're back.
And we're going to talk about internet.
That internet's messing with you.
So we want to make sure that everybody can enjoy their summer and still have fun. So one tip that we have to realize that even though it's not flu season, we need to make sure that our kids maintain good hygiene.
Amen.
All those toys get wiped off.
Yes.
And not left out to collect mold in the sun too, especially if they get wet. Dry them off correctly.
Yes.
Every surface that they touch can be affected by something, so we really have to make sure that we keep everything clean. A lot of the times when I was a kid, when I went to like the theme parks, I always came home sick because everything that they're touching, if they're eating with their hands and they touch it, they need to have your hand sanitizer on because those things are contaminated by other kids who touch things, and we don't want them to spend their whole summer sick. But we also have to make sure that they are not around anything that can cause a burn hazard. So we have lots of fireworks during July 4th and Memorial Day weekend and all those Sundays. So you have to keep them away from sparklers, make sure that they are wearing non-flammable clothing, not loose clothing, things that can explode, keep an eye on them, teach them what danger is with sparklers. When I was a kid, I used to play with sparklers, but we always had a safety talk beforehand about sparklers and how not to, swing them at people and things like that. So they have to be sure that they are aware of the safety dangers for that. Don't just cut them in the yard with them because sparklers can burn.
Oh, yeah, and you've seen some adults.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've seen some adults. You see some adults, HD, you see some adults with no hand, with 2 or 3 fingers on each hand. Because that's what happened then when they were younger.
Tough kids make tough adults, so we don't want our children to go through that when they're growing up.
We don't want them to have missing fingers.
And we want to teach them, speaking of fire hazards, about safety of not touching a hot grill.
Oh, yes.
Poking a fire for bonfires and things like that.
Ooh, love bonfires.
All your flammable things up from your kids, I was a lighter fluid fire girl, okay? So I love to spray lighter fluid into the fire and watch it go boom.
Do you still do that?
Do that.
Do you still do that? Do you still do that? Do I need to ask Pete if you still do that?
I'm not allowed to touch the grill because I make the food taste like gasoline because I like to spray the lighter fluid, so I don't touch the grill.
Pete does not allow you near the grill. Okay, thank you. We know now.
Otherwise, the food won't taste any good. But, bonfires and stuff, I love fires still. One thing I did like when I was a kid was trampolines. A lot of kids like trampolines. But did you know that that's one of the number one injuries in the summertime is trampolines?
Yes, I can believe that. Like trampoline, sprained ankles, broken bones, head and neck injuries. But a lot of times people don't realize that, if you have like more than one child on the trampoline and they're jumping, then that's when the injuries are caused. So if it's just a one jumper, it's safer. And I've also seen people put their dogs on trampolines. Please don't do that. No, that'll mess that trampoline up. How are you supposed to have a good wrestling match on it? Come on.
Okay, see, we just talked about this. You remember, those memes floating around the internet where they're like, we didn't wear seatbelts and all that stuff. And
yeah, I know.
Fine, but, nowadays it seems like the injuries are more. If they go to a trampoline, they can go to like one of the jumping stores that's safer for them, like with the pads. Like can't think.
Oh yeah. We got a lot of those around for the kids to go to. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's safer because they don't want to be sued, so you have more safety precautions there. A lot of children, they get burned easier, so they can get different types of skin damage if they're not wearing the right skin screen. So always reapply. I know I hated sunscreen as a child, but I
reapply
it easy. But make sure that it's like fun for them to wear, maybe a fun container that has their favorite character on it, but it's also an effective sunscreen. You want to do as high as you can get for children and make sure that they have a fun hat. And always with summertime, everything that you want to equip your child with, make sure it's like fun for them.
Right.
Like, don't make it like a rule because then it kills their summer fun. But give them a fun sun hat to wear, some fun glasses that have UV protection in them. Not just some that you pick up that are just cutesy that have no protection, because otherwise it's just not doing any good.
Right.
But, and they want to be balanced no matter what age. Nowadays, 4 or 5-year-olds know their style, as well as teenagers. So it's all a point of choice there on that.
We all wore hand-me-downs. I said we all wore hand-me-downs. Yeah. Goodwill clothes.
Bike accidents and all that too. You got upset.
Exactly.
One thing I did not know this one. This was about wired grill brushes, and this is recently that I learned that when you have a wired grill brush, there's a safety for that. You want to avoid them because of the metal wires can be dislodged in the food. So when you're using you want to try not to use a wired grill brush. Get an alternative to cleaning your grill. And there are some other alternatives out there because we don't want them to get their mouth cut up. They won't know that they're eating wire. Little ones won't know if it's in the hamburger meat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord.
I didn't think about, because, as adults, we're like, ooh, this doesn't taste right. The little kids, they won't know.
Exactly. Ugh. Wow, you got to.
And I was like,
Pete,
how many
Pete
times
don't do that.
We always clean our grill with a wire brush?
All the time. But sometimes daddies would do this. This is dangerous. I know you're going to talk about this. Sometimes to clean the grills, they would spray the grills down with that lighter fluid and set it on fire to clean it. Now that's dangerous.
But it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for us. They're like, stand back. Oh, you burned your eyebrows off. It's all right. I told you not to stand too close.
Well, even with
Parent,
even
we
with
were
my
abused.
dog, I teach hot. So, and you can teach your dogs and children the word hot.
Right.
They'll learn to stay away. So and then once they figure out what hot means, they'll be like, oh, okay. So instead of using the word stand back or watch out or no, use a specific word for a specific device, like hot or sharp for a knife or anything like that is really good around the grill. And if we could just get those specifics, then children will learn faster what that is.
Wow.
And
Man.
then
Great tips.
when you're outside, how hot is it right now, Ryan?
It is hotter than a well digger's blankety blank.
And it seems like our summers are getting hotter and hotter, like every year, or we're just getting more intolerant to knowing it's 96 degrees outside.
Oh, we're just old.
Well, that might be it.
Yeah.
So we want to keep hydrated. Adults and children need to keep hydrated, but children have to be reminded because they're out playing in the pool and they don't really want to stop playing to stay hydrated. But a fun thing to do for them is to pick out a fun water bottle for them for the summer with a straw and make sure that it's water, not soda or juice. Soda and juice will dehydrate you faster than anything else. And unfortunately for adults, beer is a dehydration as well.
Right.
So
don't tell our listeners that.
Come from.
Don't tell our listeners that.
I know, but if you're going to drink, you need to stay hydrated with water. But if you get the children involved in making everything for them fun,
Right.
give them a special water bottle, they'll look forward to going, oh, look, I can show off my water bottle.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, that the ages affect how much water you need. So when they're younger, they're going to need to be hydrated more. And as we get to be adults, it's a little bit different. So
Right.
it's making sure that you match up how much your child needs to drink and how much energy they're expending.
Right.
With that, because it's something, heat stroke can happen so fast, and we just don't really want to have that happen, and then we have to spend half the day of the summer in the emergency room. Along with emergency rooms, this is almost a rule now, but I think some children in the back rows still don't do it. Wearing a helmet while you're on your bike.
Wow.
They should have a fun helmet, put stickers on it, things like that, so that they enjoy putting it on and showing it off. But also on a golf cart.
Right.
Have you thought about that?
I have not thought about that.
So golf cart related injuries double in the rate that children do versus adults. So they should be practicing safety on the golf cart, and if they're younger, wearing a helmet for sure, and be educated on not sticking their feet out, their hands out, holding on, not just sitting there so they could fly off. So you never know when, like you were talking about motorcycles, you never know when a bump in the golf cart or an acorn makes them bump and then they fall off and then they get a head injury.
Exactly.
So we have to be aware of that, and also teach them. Like when you're on a roller coaster, they tell you not to stick your hands out. People do it all the time. But tell them it's important and why it's so important as well.
Exactly.
Now, we talked about pools. Okay. There's this one thing that floats around the internet. I don't know if you've seen it, but don't give your child a blue bathing suit. Have you heard that one?
No, I have not. Why is that?
Because in a pool, not a lake, but a pool, a blue bathing suit will blend in with the background of the pool. So if they're wearing blue, it's harder to see or locate them if there was an emergency in the water. So any type of blue should be avoided for children if they're going to be swimming in a pool. So they can be found easily by a lifeguard. and don't blend in. It's like putting yourself in front of a green screen wearing green.
Oh, wow.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay. So we have to keep that in mind. But along with pool safety, you want to designate a water watcher. You want to use life jackets on boats. You want to avoid rip currents.
Required.
But that goes along with the other one. Never swim alone or leave a child unattended. We were talking about putting children in a tub versus the Shih Tzu being put in the tub. So you never want to leave a child or a dog unattended in the water. And securing pool gates to ensure that water sources are safe. Make sure, even if you have a pool at your own home, that pool is safe for your children so they don't walk out the back door and go in the pool without supervision. You should have another fence around your pool to secure it, especially when you have little, so they don't accidentally get in the pool. And if you can, get them into swimming lessons wherever you can get them in swimming lessons. I took a swimming lesson, this is way back in the day, but we did a survival swimming lesson course at the YMCA where they taught you how to survive in a boat, how to take your shoes off so you could swim easier and stuff like that while you're in the water.
Right.
So those survival courses for swimming are so important. And to this day, I remember them. And I was maybe 5 or 6 back then. Never too early to learn how to be able to take care of yourself in the water. So there's a lot to keep in mind when you're out in the summertime, and not only just the safety, the regular safety things, but making sure, again, that your kids have some identification on them in case you get separated, especially at like Six Flags or the water park, or just a regular park, so that they know where they can go to find help. Go to an adult, and usually I say teach your children to go to an adult that has a tag on it, an identification tag, like a name tag. Teach them to look for logos on the shirts or their name tags. They're at Six Flags.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them this person works here. So you go to them, like we teach them to go to a police officer, but if there's not an officer around, who do they go to? They need to go to an adult that works at the facility if they get lost. So, and then they know their name. And if they can't speak very well, then they should have something on them at all times to identify, who you contact, like your phone number or something like that.
Okay. Well, we've learned a lot this morning about summer safety. And like I said, like up the road from us here in downtown Newnan, not too far from where I live, there is a pool with a park for kids to play in, and then a baseball field too. So it's just a lot going on this summer. So you got to watch the kids. You got to put the suntan on, the sunscreen or whatever you want to call it. You have to put that on. And whenever you're out cooking outdoors, keep the kids away from the grill as much as possible and all this good stuff, because it's just a summertime and it's hot. It's going to be near 93 today where we're at. Currently it's 71 in the metro Atlanta area of Newnan, and it is going to be a hot one, and it's going to be hot today and tomorrow. So diving into the pool sounds good to me, HD. Well, tell everybody how to follow you, all that good stuff, and what's coming up on your Monday show.
Wow. Let's see. So you can follow me on almost every social media platform, including YouTube, at warriordefenders.com. Everything is listed there. My classes, seminars, fun events coming up this summer. I'll be in Villa Rica coming up in July again. Bungee Boogie Fitness will have a class at the end of June. Coming up, we have the book signings that are coming out at the Hero Comics in July, the first weekend in July, for Life After Balance. And, of course, the children's book, since we're talking about children, this Little Brown Monkey is also available. All of those links are on warriordefenders.com. But you can find those on Amazon as well. There is always opportunities out there to schedule a college class for the girls that are going off to college, and we're going to be talking about Red Zone College on Monday and what Red Zone is.
Right.
So, and why it's so important to be prepared for all ages. All ages, 6 to 96, need to learn to be their own heroes.
Definitely so. And all I got to add this in is Pete says fire is cool. So I'm thinking is fire. Cool. That's what he said. Make sure you like. Go ahead.
Hey, he knows I like fire.
Fire. H.D. Reese, fire. Well, you need to fire up that grill this weekend, Pete, because H.D. Reese is going to be wanting something to eat. Thank you. And we'll be back here in a moment on the Rhino Radio Penitentiary. Thank you, H.D.